Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are here today with Mariah and Shyanne from the Makeup Bar. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having us.
Absolutely. So, tell me a little bit more about yourselves and the Makeup Bar.
I'm Cheyenne. I've been doing makeup and hair for license for 10 years. Other than that, my whole life. And I am originally from the Bay Area. And when I moved out here, I was like, I do not want to start my clientele over. I do not want to restart. I just want to work for somebody and show up to work and clock in and clock out. And then maybe like 6 months doing that, I hated my life. And I was like, okay, something needs to change. I need to get back into it because both of us, we always say this, we love what we do. And there's just like you get beautiful joy and like, how do I want to word this? Like, it's just very
Fulfilling.
fulfilling
Yeah.
doing what we do. Like, I could do it in my sleep and I lose sleep over it. I don't matter. Like, I love what we do. And so then when I found the makeup bar, I started working and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I needed to get back in my groove and what have you. Um, but yes, I ended up in the makeup bar, started as an artist, turned manager, and now I'm one of the owners. Thanks to lovely Mariah here. But yes, I truly love what I do, and I wouldn't change how my journey has been to get me here, honestly.
I love that. How about you, Mariah?
I've been doing hair again, licensed. We come from a family of, well, both of us, really like lots of sisters. So we had, practice forever before we went to school. But I've been doing hair licensed for about 5 years. And we just wanted to really like cultivate a space in the makeup bar where artists could come in and, we build a brand up and then they could just come in and be creative and, really focus on their artistry and what makes them happy about, them being creative about doing makeup. And again, it's like the client connections that we really, um, you know,
Value.
yeah, definitely. And it's like, at the same time, we also want our artists and our clients to feel comfortable coming in, that like anybody could come in and sit in our chair. Anyone can, get a service done. It's something that's like a luxury service that we want to try to make attainable for everybody. And I think that's what we pride ourselves on the most, like our client experience. And also like our artists and how our artists stay, and our wedding team, our in-studio team. I'm so thankful to have Cheyenne as a business partner and turned like best friend, and it's just so crazy. Our families are intertwined, like we just know everything about each other, and it's just really nice to have someone supportive to lean on, because partnership is not easy. And to find somebody that you really like, have the same values, ambitions, goals, and just for all of that to align perfectly, like it's huge, and it'll make or break a business. So I'm just really thankful.
Even like family dynamic, I
Yeah,
think is super
absolutely.
huge
We grew up
because
exactly the same. Like we are literally the same. It's
being
so
entrepreneurs,
crazy.
it's like when something happens, you got to be able to rely that someone's not going to judge you or use it against you in any way. And it's like, we get it. Life happens. And it's so amazing having someone that understands. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, you guys just did a big move. We have a new space.
Yes.
So, tell me about our new location and all the fun things happening at Makeup Bar.
Yeah, so we're still in Rockland. We did move just up the street. Our shopping center's great. We now added in a blowout bar. So on top of makeup, we are open during the week to do blowouts, which is something we've been wanting to add on for a really long time. And the move was right and the time was right. So we were like, we had to jump on the opportunity because that's what our clients asked for, and ask and you shall receive. But it was a great move. It was nice to build this space with Cheyenne and I's vision, and like down to everything, like the like flooring and like picking out paint. Like I think we spent the most time picking out paint.
Yeah.
Like the swatches and the amount of paint we put in there. Yeah, it was just really fun. It was so fun and artistic, and the whole
Yes.
experience was just, it was great. The move was good. It was needed.
I love that. So then I also noticed that you guys hold classes too, correct?
Yeah, so we've kind of like altered them a little bit since we moved. We do more of like a one-on-one lesson with an artist just so that you can get a more personalized experience. And what we found with the classes was they were fun. They were really fun to get together with your girlfriends and like, have a drink and do makeup and then go out after, and it was great. When we moved into this new spot, because we added in the blowout bar, we did have to, like maneuver that a little bit because it's still something that our clients asked for and it's something they really wanted. But like I said, we did switch more over into like a one-on-one or like mini lessons, just so that you can have a look that's like specifically tailored to you. You have the individual attention. It's just like it got hard with having 16 people in a class, and then you have like an artist and an assistant to like get around to everyone so that everybody felt like their time was like really valued. And so I think that's why we thought it was important to make the move to more of the like one-on-one sessions, just so that everyone could feel more confident when they left versus like I talked to them for 15 minutes and then like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And so it was just like it was based off of like feedback from our clients, and again, ask and you shall receive because we're very client driven. But also kind of like what we valued in like our artistry is what we wanted to like come across to our clients.
I love that.
Yeah.
So speaking of artists, how many artists do you have at the makeup bar?
We have 8 artists.
That's amazing.
We've got an in-studio team and a traveling wedding team as well.
Well, that was my next questions. Do your artists travel?
Yes, we do
Absolutely.
travel.
Yes.
And then we also have our studio in Rockland as well.
Yeah. And we do, for our brides, we give them the option of, if their weddings close, we absolutely will let them like rent out the store and use it as their getting ready morning venue. Just because I think what we've ran into a lot as like a hair and makeup team in the mornings is they can't like get in at a certain time. They need more time to get ready, or they don't want to get ready at a hotel. And so we were like, it's perfect us having a storefront because not a lot of people have that option. So we're able to also not only provide the services, but also give them like a venue where, we did add in like we have a coffee bar now. Shyanne and I are huge on coffee. So that was the one thing we're like, this is a non-negotiable. Like we are getting a coffee bar. But then we put in like a TV and a full like there's just all kinds of things. So like, we really encourage our brides that if they are gonna come in studio for the morning, like bring breakfast, bring drinks, like have the mimosas flowing. There's nothing different versus like you getting ready at a venue versus you getting ready here, aside from like the time.
I love that. So when a bride contacts you, do they need to know exactly what they want their look to be? Or is that something that you can work with your client to kind of figure out?
Absolutely. No, they don't need to know exactly what they want because majority of the time, for brides, it's their first time ever getting glam. So it's like I normally don't wear anything. I wear very minimal. I never do my hair. So I think that's something that is amazing at what we do is we're able to customize everybody's glam to what they want, but also keep in mind they're going to be taking photos and longevity of the wear. So a lot of times brides do come pretty prepared, but the ones that don't, absolutely, we can chit chat and get you your vision of what you want to look like on your day of.
So what is the information that they need to have when they contact you?
So typically, we do have like an inquiry form on our website. There's also a link where they could schedule like a bridal consultation call. But typically we need at least like, the date, obviously first and foremost, the location, if they're going to get ready on location or if they want in studio, because availability is obviously big, what services they want. So whether they want to do hair and makeup or just hair or just makeup, and then their head count. So depending on where their wedding's located, we do have a service minimum for on location. It's not something we run into often as like a problem, but we are very flexible because we have artists that do both hair and makeup. So if it's something that they're like under our minimum, but they're doing hair and makeup, like we have an artist that we could send out to do both, which I think is really nice because we have the flexibility to do that, But that's pretty much all I really take on a consultation call. And then since we do have, a team of multiple artists, every artist has a different style. So I like to ask them on a bridal consultation call, like, what is your vision, if you have one, and what is it that you're really looking for? Do you typically wear makeup? How comfortable are you with it? And I really just kind of, like she said, nitpick those things just to kind of get a vibe for like what they're feeling. And if they don't, I'm like, look, come to your trial with like 9,000 photos and we will go through and pick through every little thing to be like, what is it from each photo? Is it like you like the texture in her hair, or you like the wing liner on this look, or like, little things from each photo. And then we like to like put it all together and customize their own bridal look. So it's like tailored to them specifically.
I love that you do that for your clients because sometimes you don't know exactly what it is or you don't know the verbiage to use when you're talking to someone. So that if you ask them what specifically, that's an amazing, you know, um, extra,
Yeah,
so you don't
Absolutely.
feel like, oh, well, I don't know what it's called that I like here.
100%. Absolutely.
And I think the verbiage is where a lot of the translation gets very like the miscommunication happens. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, I really want to try, X, Y, and Z, but it's something that I've never tried before. And it's like, okay, well, like, what is it about this and that you do like about it? And what is it that like you may possibly not like about it? So I think that our consultations are very, very thorough as far as like the bridal call initially, and then like all the way through, with your trial and everything like that too. Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of takes me into my next question of if someone is looking at your website or on social media and they don't necessarily see like this is the look I want, should they still contact you and reach out?
Absolutely.
I always say yes because like I said, we do have like a team, so it's not just everything that's online. Yeah, our website I feel like has a pretty good variety as far as photos. Same with our Instagram, like your tagged work and that kind of thing. But I think that when you're able to talk through it a little bit more, people see themselves, everyone, like we're our hardest critic, so everyone's gonna see themselves very differently, and they're gonna be like, oh, I think I want this, but then they look and they're like, oh, well, like, what's all this? And so I just want, like, our biggest thing is we want our brides to feel comfortable. And so if there's something that you want but you don't see, like, please, please ask, because it never hurts to ask, I mean, the worst thing we're gonna say is no. So I mean, I don't know. It doesn't hurt to ask, I would much rather like ask and give you. I mean, it might not be the answer that people want to hear, but like also different, like it's a lot of it is also vibes and personality. I feel like you can, if a bride's kind of like, I don't know what I necessarily want as my look, but then they come in and they vibe off of you, they're instantly so much more comfortable and they're able to kind of let their guard down a little bit and be like, okay, I trust you, like do what you think looks good as the artist and like I'm gonna roll with it. And 9 times out of 10 it works.
Yes.
And they love it and it's great. So I mean, I always say like, please speak up. That's the biggest thing I could say is just ask.
Even if you don't like it, speak up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the ideal timeline for a bride to book everything? When should they set up their consultation? When should they come in for a trial?
This is a tricky question because I feel like for brides it's personal preference. We have seen all ends of the spectrum where it's brides that are last minute and we totally don't mind accommodating them. Absolutely, if we can, we will fit you in for your trial next week and we will get you booked and it's no problem. Given availability, right? But then we also have like, we're booking up so fast for 2025 and it's just so crazy. I'm like, these brides are on it. I'm like, the 2025 brides are
different than 2024.
they are like ahead of the game. Like I didn't think we would be booking this fast for 2025 as we are, but I mean like it's crazy. Weddings just don't, like, every wedding season gives you something different. So I don't like to, when I'm on a bridal consultation call and they're like, okay, well my wedding's in like 8 months, when should I book? I don't like to give anybody a direct answer, and I will honestly tell them, I'm like, it's really up to you. I could do it as soon as tomorrow. I could, it really just depends on our availability, and I don't want to give you a date and then you come back and you're like, okay, I'm ready to book because it's that date, and then we're booked. So I never like to give anybody a straight answer. If you're leaning towards a specific vendor, and I'm not just speaking hair and makeup, I'm like any wedding party event vendor at all, and you're like, this is them, I want them, like, book it sooner than later, because odds are if you love them that much, somebody else loves them too, especially if you're getting married in October.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is a busy time. So, on average, how long does the bride or the bridal party spend in the chair getting ready? When they're trying to like figure out their timeline, what should they try to allocate for getting ready in them?
Yeah, so I mean, if they have a wedding planner, obviously, like, I will work with their planner. But typically, and make them a timeline. I make a timeline for every bride regardless, but I would say it's about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes for the bride. Each bridesmaid is about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on, like, we always say, well, we always ask the bride during the trial, like, do you think that your bridal party is going to want X, Y, and Z, or are they going to be, like a soft glam like you? Or do they have clip-in extensions? Or, like, there's things that we ask before so that we know if we need to allocate extra time or not, because I mean, we do this every single weekend. So once we're like I don't know, two people in, we are like in the zone. Like, we are just going and going and going. And so, like, I feel like sometimes when we say 30 minutes, they're like, are you sure that's enough time? And I'm like, no, I promise you it's enough time. Like, you will have a full beat in 30 minutes. I promise you. Like, Cheyenne did this in like 30 minutes this morning. So it really just depends on like the look that they're going for. If there's like added, clip-in extensions, that's obviously going to take longer. Typically about 30 to 45 minutes though.
That's awesome. So I have super sensitive skin. And I have had issues like with reactions and things like that. So what do you do for your clients that are similar to me, like that have had reactions to makeup or that have super sensitive skin or that are kind of concerned about, getting their makeup done or
I think that's so important to know because I ask every single buddy that sits in my chair, do you have any allergies, sensitivities, anything? Because it's so easy to look at products and be like, okay, boom, this is in there. Let's set that aside. We're not using it. If you know exactly what you're allergic to or sensitive to. However, if you don't know like a specific ingredients, we try to stay away from anything that has fragrance, more clean makeup, things that are a little bit more nicer on the skin than other products. But other than that, if it's like something like somebody has, what, I don't even know, something that would make me, no, make me ask them to bring their own products. Like if it's like a specific line of ingredients that they cannot use, I'm like, okay, well, you can definitely bring in like whatever you normally use, and I can definitely use it and apply it to you because that also makes them feel a lot more comfortable knowing they're not going to have a reaction or anything like that, and be able to still achieve the look that they're looking for without doing it themselves. But I think that's a really good question because there's so many people who don't even know that they're sensitive to anything. Because I personally have sensitive skin. There's like MAC is very, I can't use it a lot on myself, so I know to look for certain things, but just being able to ask the right questions.
yeah. So what about like our couples or wedding parties that are concerned about having like blemishes or they want to cover things up for that day?
Absolutely. Blemishes, I don't find to be hard at all as long as you're not picking at it and leaving a scab. However, it's hard to conceal or make texture go away on the skin. And I know once you put makeup over anything that has texture on the skin, it's gonna enhance it even more.
Mhm.
So that's when photography comes in. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But just being careful and being able to acknowledge that it's a normal thing. Um, and it's nothing anyone should be ashamed of or feel conscious about because we all get it and it's very normal.
Yeah.
We're only age. We don't rewind.
Okay, so what should the wedding party do to keep their makeup like looking fresh throughout their
Oh,
day?
yes, I love this question because I feel like people always, and it's different for every artist. Let me say that right off the bat. I come from experience of having very oily skin, so I'm like I need my makeup to last me all day without touching up, without anything. However, when you're in your makeup for over 8 hours, you're going to need to do a little touching up, whether it's powder, whether it's a little bit of blush or what have you, lipstick. But I always like to give our clients the sponge that I use on them for that morning of, and even the little powder puff with a little bit of powder in it so they have it throughout the day and kind of show them if anything it starts to move or run or anything, show them how to like go about touching up. We also like to one of my favorite things that we do and that I notice that not a lot of artists do is when we have a bridal party, I like to do the lips for everyone at the very end. So that way everyone can enjoy the morning, eating, drinking, what have you, without feeling you're getting lipstick all over your face. And that way, right before you're doing pictures, everything looks nice and fresh. But also, I think touch ups before they leave is super key as well.
I love that. Are there any like absolute no's when it comes to makeup or hair for weddings?
For for me, for makeup, I wanna say no because I've seen it all.
Yeah, we have.
We had a bride last year that had all of her bridesmaids had a different velvet color dress,
Oh, that was
and
beautiful.
they all wanted a smoky eye to match that, whether it was red,
It
green,
was like
purple,
yeah, like
jewel
jewel tones.
tones. And I love that. But I was like, oh my God, that's kind of like taking away from the bride's look a little bit. But also, it's like you never see that in photos. You never see someone have a purple or a red smoky eye. So I was like, okay, whatever. We're just going to go with the flow with it. And honestly, I think what is super key about it too is what the bride says. And this is why trials are so important because this is when we have that conversation with the bride. It's like, do you have any in your bridal party that is like wants to outdo you or outshine you or that loves a red lip? Because that's another one that like when you look at a photo and you see one person with a red lip, you're like, What was she thinking? Like, is that the only color she had to like choose from?
Yeah.
Because it just stands out and it doesn't allow the photos to be cohesive. So these are little things that we see and look at and interpret. But I don't think for makeup there's no like no go besides a red lip, I would say.
Unless you're the bride.
Yeah, unless you're the bride and you're like, this is my go-to. I always
like
wear
the
a red
bride.
lip. Yeah.
Like a Taylor Swift.
But other than that, I think for makeup, no, not much.
I don't really
Hair, I
think
don't
anything
think
for hair either. I think that as far as I think that our no's are like
what the bride's doing.
yes. I unless the bride says it's okay, we will not copy verbatim like what the bride is doing for her look. So our biggest thing is like cohesiveness because obviously our job is to make the photos look good and work, hand in
Yeah.
hand with the photographer. And so all you like you spend so much on this day and then all you've got left is your photos after. And so that's like we feel like we have a pretty big job. And so we just want to make sure that like everything looks cohesive. And obviously we'll give our professional advice and whether they take it or not, I mean that's totally on them, but like we just look for little things cuz like Cheyenne said we've really seen it all over the last X amount of years. It's been so long. And so I mean, nothing really surprises us anymore. And we're just like, we really go with the flow of everything. We just want to make sure that, like, our bride doesn't have to have the uncomfortable conversation of, like, telling her bridesmaid, hey, I don't want you to do that. And so, like she said during the trial, we're like, is there anybody that you need us to, like, step in for so that you don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation? Weddings bring out a lot in people.
Yeah,
Things that we've like never, and then we're in them and we're like, oh, this really does bring out a lot in people. And so we just want to make sure that the bride feels like calm and comfortable. She doesn't have to have the awkward conversations. The friend doesn't have to get mad. We can be the bad person and come in there and be like, nope, we're sticking to X, Y, and Z. And like, this is just what it is. And so that way it just saves a lot of discomfort for everybody. So, I mean, we have no problem stepping in for our bride and saying something so that they don't have to. But as far as the nose, I think our biggest thing is just make sure that like
You're
you
not
follow
trying.
your prep.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so tell me more about following your prep.
We like to, when they book their trial, we'll send them like a how to prep for your hair and makeup when it comes, and then like
For your trial and day of.
yes, and then so that way they can share it with their bridesmaids too, because all it's going to do is help your makeup last longer, lay a little smoother, and make your hair last longer, not get frizzy, and most importantly, keep the timeline going.
Yes, that's
Because the
true.
last thing you want to do is wait for someone to go blow dry their hair because it's their turn in the timeline, but they didn't come like prepped.
Mhm.
So I think we like to give out these prep guides, not just
We enjoy giving out the prep guide.
yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that it's like, everyone's ready on all sides, and that like, we're not telling you this just because it's like it's for a reason, and we've seen the reasons before, and so a lot of like, tweaking has gone into like we add new things. I feel like every bridal season we add something different, or we change something in our prep guide to be like, okay, like, this needs to do, we got to pay more attention to this, or we have to really focus on this, and we'll reiterate it at the trial too. But I think prep, and I can speak for every hair and makeup artist, prep is key. Like it's huge across the board.
100%. 100%.
I love that. Okay, so will self tanners or spray tans affect your makeup?
No, absolutely not. I've never ran into an issue, and majority of the time people don't put it on their face. Which I think also is why I probably have never had an issue. But then again, also I feel like it would help if they did their face a little bit, just because it's like less makeup. You get to define your features without having makeup there. So it's just a little bit here and there. But I've never had anyone use it on their face to where I've had an issue either. And I think when people do tans or self tanners, it just makes you photograph a lot better too. Like we all love to be tanned, and it just allows your makeup to flourish a little bit better underneath your skin.
Right.
Absolutely. Or on top of your
Awesome.
skin.
What would you say to the brides or bridal parties that are on the fence about getting their makeup done?
I would lean back into the whole photography thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I only do hair, but obviously in the industry for so long. But I will stress to all of my brides on their consultation calls, like if you are leaning versus like getting your makeup done versus getting your hair done, like get your makeup done, 110%. Because I mean, I feel like majority of people can curl their hair and just like leave it down, and
Looks good.
it is what it is. But like for the sake of photos, I would say
Makeup is so different.
yes. The way that like a professional camera absorbs makeup and the lighting and taking photos outside, which majority of the brides do, layering makeup and bridal makeup is so much different from your day-to-day makeup. And I mean,
Well, and also going back to photography and all the things we've experienced, when we go back and look at these brides' photos and there's like two, three people that didn't get their makeup done, you can tell and you notice, and it just kind of like throws the photos off a little bit. And that all might be personal preference, but it's just like something that we pay attention to when we're looking at the photos. But we definitely advise for them to do it, absolutely, or encourage them.
Yeah, you can definitely see the difference. I mean, and like you said, this is what you do every day. So
Mhm.
you have an eye, you see those things. What pre-wedding skincare tips do you have?
Ooh.
exfoliate.
Yes. I think exfoliating is the number one thing, but also the second you find out you're getting married or you're engaged, actually start taking care of your skin if you're someone who already does or someone who doesn't, because it makes all the world difference in how the makeup lays on your skin, the way it photographs and all the things. But skin prep is one of the biggest things, and it could be just from washing your face 2 times a day to adding an exfoliator into your routine, adding an eye cream, because so many people skip eye cream because they think, oh, I'll just put moisturizer under my eye. But moisturizer isn't meant for under the eye, and it could go even south if you do that. But I think skin prep and even like just doing your own research on what you could do to incorporate some of those things.
And hydrate. Drink a lot of water. A lot. Oh, that's in our prep guide. Drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Makes such a difference.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so my favorite question, what advice do you have for couples in the planning stages of their wedding?
I would say, well, if you don't want it to be high stress, plan accordingly. Like,
Yeah.
don't procrastinate, but if you do, we can help you. But also, I mean, it was so funny. We were actually talking about this not too long ago, but I think the biggest thing we see with our brides is like they just get so caught up in like the hustle and bustle of everything. Like, enjoy the whole planning process too. Even if you have a wedding planner, like enjoy picking out your vendors.
Yeah.
Or, doing your cake tasting, or like really be present and just enjoy, the entire process, because you put so much work into this one day. And if you just are like stressy the whole time, it's not going to be enjoyable for anybody. And you, at the end of the day, like this wedding is for you and your significant other. And I think a lot of people like stray from that because weddings tend to be like, well, yeah, a lot. And then it's like so many outside opinions, and you're trying to cater to everybody else and like make everyone else happy. Really remember that, like what the
two of you.
yeah, like what the day is really about, and like,
Not your mother-in-law that has an opinion about everything. Because it's true. We see it all the time. And it's like
it's always
the
someone
bride's
has an
getting phone
opinion.
calls in the morning, and it's
Yes.
like, you could have easily fixed that little situation without letting the bride know. Especially
Yeah.
someone who already is like high stress or worries about little details. It's like there's so many things.
Yeah, don't stress about the little things. Like when it's day of, it just is what it is. What's gonna happen is gonna happen, and you're just like already there, and you just gotta like like let go and let God at that point, because like you just really, I just want all of our brides to focus on really enjoying their day with their significant other
So fast.
so fast.
Yeah.
We say this all the time because we're the first ones to see the bride and the bridal party in the morning, and they're like, "Oh my God, we have such a long day." And it's like, "Okay, well, we're on the last person, and like the whole morning already went by." I'm like, it's enjoy every part of it because it happens so fast, and you spend so much time, money, all these things on this whole day that it's like enjoy it all.
What advice do you have for the couples in general?
I'm like,
Take things together and don't argue.
yeah. I think that's true too, because a lot of times it's like, what's the bride want? And it's like, I get that it's more important, or not more important, but it's more focused on the bride versus the groom, but it's also the groom's day just as much as the bride. So it's like both you enjoy the moment and process together and just be present the whole time.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
Again, you guys can follow the Makeup Art online, check out their website, and go see Mariah and Shyanne.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I just want to thank our sponsors. Thank you to our diamond sponsor, Lush Balloons, our media sponsor, Real Wedding Magazine, our grand prize sponsor, Retreat Salon and Spa, our fashion show sponsors, Our Place Event Space and Kitchen, Carriage House Flower Farms, and our VIP sponsors, Petite Events, White Moon Rustics, a Doboink, and I have some exciting news. Our tickets for the 2025 show are now on sale. So head on over to our website. We have our new website up, and our tickets are available for purchase. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.